Welcome. You are here to rest, to drift gently into a quieter rhythm of thought. Tonight, we are traveling back to a time unimaginably distant from our own. A time when the world was colder, wilder, and more dangerous than we can easily imagine. The Ice Age. It is easy to think of the Ice Age only in terms of hardship. A landscape of endless snow. The struggle against hunger and the lurking shadow of predators larger and fiercer than ourselves. Life was harsh. Life was short. And yet, within that frozen world, there were also comforts. Small, fragile, but real. Fires that held back the cold. Meals cooked over embers that softened hunger. The touch of furs that kept the body warm through bitter nights. Even moments of beauty, paintings traced by torchlight, laughter shared within the echo of stone walls, and the timeless rhythm of survival itself. In this journey, we will explore both the struggles and the unexpected comforts of Ice Age cave life, where you will walk in their footsteps, or rather, sit in their caves and feel the texture of existence as it was lived tens of thousands of years ago. We will move slowly, gently. First, you will immerse yourself in the daily life of an Ice Age group, imagining the sensory details of waking in a cave, shivering, but also finding warmth. Then, we will follow the story of a single hunter, one of the people who carried the burden of feeding the group, and whose strength, choices, and endurance determined not just his own survival, but the survival of many. Later, we will step deeper into the shadows of the cave itself, studying the mysterious painted walls that have puzzled and inspired generations of archaeologists. Finally, we will consider the leaders, the healers, and the storytellers, those who shaped the social order of the cave and gave their people meaning. Even in a world of cold and uncertainty. For now, let us begin at the beginning. You awake inside the cave. The fire has burned low. The air is heavy with smoke and stone. It is still the Ice Age. You open your eyes. The first sensation is the weight of furs upon your body. Heavy, coarse, and faintly musky, with a scent of animals long since hunted. The warmth of those hides is imperfect, yet it is a shield between your fragile body and the bitter air that creeps into the cave. All around you, others lie close, huddled in shallow sleep. Their breaths mingle in the cold, creating faint clouds that drift upward into the dim air. The fire has burned down to a low glow. Thin ribbons of smoke rise from the blackened wood, carrying the sharp, earthy smell of charred bark and damp ash. You pull the fur closer, but the chill still seeps in. A draft snakes its way across the stone floor, sliding through cracks in the cave's entrance. It brushes against your face, and for a moment, you shiver. This is the struggle you always know, the endless fight against the cold. Yet, despite the chill, you are alive, and around you, so is your group. As your eyes adjust to the dim, you see the flicker of orange where the coals still pulse. Someone stirs, rising quietly to feed the fire. You hear the sound of flint striking against stone, sharp and metallic. Sparks leap into the dark, then fade. With practiced patience, they coax new life into the embers. Soon, Flames stretch upward again, licking at the blackened wood, filling the cave with a gentle glow. The fire brings comfort. Its light pushes the shadows away from the walls. Its warmth creeps outward, softening the bitter edge of the morning. You hear the faint hiss as damp wood releases its moisture. The crackle that breaks the silence, the rhythm of life returning to the hearth. You notice the cave itself. The stone around you is rough, damp in places, cool to the touch. Drops of water fall occasionally from the ceiling, a steady, slow rhythm that has been there long before your people arrived. The walls are dark, but alive with shadows that flicker as the fire grows stronger. Every surface reflects movement, as if unseen spirits danced upon the rock. The group begins to wake. Quiet murmurs, the rustle of hides, the stretching of stiff limbs. Someone coughs softly, their breath catching in the smoke. Another child stirs and presses closer to their mother. Slowly, life resumes. Hunger gnaws at you, as it always does. The food is never enough. You remember last night's meal, a thin stew of roots and dried meat simmered in a hide pouch by the fire. It was bland, yet it filled your belly, and the warmth lingered in your chest long after. Today, more food must be found. Outside the cave, you know there is danger. The world is harsh. Wolves prowl, their howls sometimes echoing across the snow at night. Saber-toothed cats, mammoths, and bears roam the land. To step outside is to risk the unknown. Yet you also know there will be small comforts waiting. The crisp freshness of the air after the smoke of the cave. The crunch of snow beneath your feet. The way sunlight, weak but real, glitters across the frozen landscape. The day will be long. Some will hunt, others will forage, others will tend the fire and care for the young. But at the center of it all, there will always be the hearth. The fire is your greatest treasure, a constant companion that keeps you alive, a fragile boundary between survival and frost, and so you rise. The weight of fur slides from your shoulders. Your bare feet press against cold stone. You stretch stiff muscles, listen to the gentle sounds of your people stirring, and watch the fire grow stronger. It is hard, it always is. And yet, it is life. A rhythm, steady and familiar. Struggle, yes, but also a comfort. Among your group, there is one man whose presence is different. He is not a leader in the sense of commanding others, nor is he a shaman weaving stories in the glow of firelight. His place is marked, instead, by the steady hands that shape tools from stone, by the strength that carries the hunt, and by the long, scarred arms that show the price of survival. Imagine him, taller than most, his shoulders broad, his hair tangled and coarse, bound back with a strip of sinew. His face carries the weather of many winters, the raw burn of icy wind, the faint lines from squinting into sunlit snow, the small nicks and healed wounds of hunts past. His name is lost to us, if he ever had one in the way we understand names. But for tonight, he is simply the hunter. Every morning, he rises before most. He sharpens his spear by firelight, the soft rasp of stone against bone, filling the cave with a steady rhythm. He inspects the long shaft, carved from wood, chosen months ago, straight and strong. At the tip, a carefully shaped flint point, bound with sinew and sealed with resin. Each movement is deliberate, practiced. There is no hurry. In his world, haste is dangerous. Patience is survival. The hunter is not solitary, though he often seems apart. His strength is tied to the group, and the group's survival depends on him. There is trust between them, silent but deep. When food is scarce, it is his footsteps that break the snow first. When tracks are found, it is his eyes that read them. And when danger presses close, it is his spear that stands between life and loss. One day, as the snow lies deep across the valley, the hunter prepares to lead others into the frozen plains. Tracks of mammoths have been seen. To hunt such a creature is almost impossible. Yet the reward, a bounty of meat, hide, bone, and fat, is beyond measure. The air outside is sharp, biting at the skin. Breath clouds the vision, forming white trails that drift upward before vanishing. Around him, 3 others step forward. Younger men, less experienced, their eyes on him for guidance. Each carries a spear. Each knows the danger. The group walks in silence across the snow. Their feet crunch with every step, the sound muffled by the vastness of the land. The horizon stretches endless and pale, broken only by scattered trees. The rise of a ridge. The faint, dark line of distant forest. The world is empty, yet never safe. At last, they see it. A herd of mammoths, their massive forms moving slowly across the ice-bound grassland. Their breath rises in steaming plumes, their shaggy hair swaying with each movement. The ground itself seems to tremble as they walk. Calves huddle near their mothers, while the larger bulls keep a wary distance. The hunter studies them. He knows what must be done. There is no possibility of felling a beast alone. The group must separate one from the herd, perhaps an older one, slowed by time, or a young one that lags behind. Hours pass. They watch. They wait. Snow falls lightly, dusting their fur cloaks and spears. At last, an opportunity. A weakened mammoth, limping, its movements slow. The hunter signals with a simple gesture. Quiet, steady. They move closer. The first spear flies, striking the flank. The mammoth bellows, a low, thunderous cry that echoes across the plains. The herd scatters, snow erupting under pounding feet. The chosen beast stumbles, bleeding, but still strong. The hunters close in, spears thrusting, withdrawing, thrusting again. The struggle is long. The air fills with the sound of breath, of cries, of crashing footsteps. For hours they follow, pressing the creature until, at last, it collapses, exhausted. The ground shakes as it falls, snow billowing upward in a cloud. The world grows quiet again, broken only by the harsh gasps of the hunters and the soft crackling of snow settling. The mammoth is gone, but in its place is life. The hunters stand over it, weary, trembling, but triumphant. The work is far from over. With stone blades, they begin the slow, steady process of cutting hide from flesh, sinew from bone. Every part has meaning. Meat will be dried and smoked, preserved against hunger. Bones will become tools. Hide will be stretched into clothing, shelters, coverings against the cold. Fat will feed the fire, adding precious heat to long nights. Nothing is wasted. Hours pass. The snow darkens beneath them, the air heavy with a metallic Thames of life spilled into the earth. The hunter works with practiced patience, his hands sure, his face calm. There is no celebration, no shouts of victory, only a deep, quiet understanding. This is survival. When the work is done, they carry what they can back toward the cave. The walk is slow, burdened by heavy loads. Yet there is comfort in the weight, for it is the weight of life itself. When they return, the group gathers. Children's eyes widen. The fire is fed higher. Meat sizzles and smokes. The smell fills the cave, rich and heavy, a smell of safety. For days to come, there will be warmth in their bellies, and the memory of this hunt will linger long after the fire has died down. And the hunter, he does not stand apart now. He sits close to the fire, chewing slowly, his eyes on the flames. His body is weary, his breath quiet. But he knows, as they all do, that life continues, day after day, in this rhythm of struggle and comfort. The hunt is over. The meat has been shared, the fire burns steady, and the cave grows quiet. Yet, as the night deepens, there are some among the group who rise, taking torches into their hands. Their destination is not the snow-covered plains or the forests filled with game, but deeper into the stone itself. You follow them into the cave's narrow passages. The air grows cooler, the walls closer. The flame of the torch flickers against rough stone, sending shadows that dance like living things. Each breath tastes of damp earth and smoke. The sound of footsteps echoes, muffled, yet carrying far in the silence. As you move deeper, the walls begin to change. Faint markings appear at first, scratches, handprints, smudges of red ochre. Then, as the passage opens into a chamber, the walls bloom with life. Here, in the stillness of the cave, animals run. Bison, with curved horns, charge across the stone. Horses gallop, their manes flowing, their eyes wide. Mammoths loom, their massive shapes towering even in shadow. Painted in ochre, in charcoal, in pigments drawn from earth and mineral, they move with a strange vitality, as though the rock itself remembers them. The torchlight catches each curve of the wall, bringing motion to the images. A horse seems to leap forward. A stag turns its head. A lion prowls, silent and eternal. The effect is mesmerizing. Stillness and motion, silence and life, fused together in stone. Why did they paint these images? Archaeologists today still wonder. Some say they were part of rituals meant to summon success in the hunt, to bind the spirit of the animal before the spear ever struck. Others believe the paintings told stories, teaching the young, preserving memory, giving form to knowledge. Still others whisper that these were spiritual acts. The first expressions of belief, where humans sought connection with forces unseen. You imagine the people of the Ice Age here, kneeling before the wall, their faces lit by torchlight. They hold bowls of pigment, brushes made of hair or feather, perhaps blowing color through hollow bones to create the soft outlines of figures. Their hands are steady, their concentration deep. Around them, the air is filled with smoke and silence, broken only by the crackle of flame and the occasional murmur of voices. There is reverence in this act, a kind of quiet awe. These are not casual marks. They are deliberate, layered, built with care. Some animals are drawn with multiple legs, as if in motion, suggesting not just form, but movement, life itself captured in stone. In some caves, footprints of children have been found near the paintings. Imagine a young boy or girl following the adults into the dark, holding a torch high, watching as the walls came alive with images. For them, it must have been a world of wonder, a place where the boundaries of reality seemed to blur. Even today, standing before these ancient works, the effect is the same. In places like Lascaux, Chauvet, and Altamira, the paintings remain astonishingly vivid, their colors preserved by time and silence. To gaze upon them is to feel the presence of those who lived so long ago, not as distant abstractions, but as people alive with imagination, desire, and expression. And perhaps that is the deepest mystery of all, not why they painted, but how deeply we still feel their touch across tens of thousands of years. In the quiet of the cave, with the torch casting light on ancient stone, you realize something profound. These images are not merely art. They are conversation. They are memory. They are the first whispers of humanity's voice, carried from the Ice Age into the present. The torch sputters, casting one last flicker of light across the wall. The animals seem to stir, to breathe, to shift once more in shadow. Then darkness returns, soft and complete. You walk back toward the warmth of the main chamber. Behind you, the paintings remain silent, eternal, waiting for the next flame to bring them to life again. The cave is once again alive with the steady rhythm of fire. The day's hunt is complete, the work of butchering done, and the air smells faintly of smoke, roasted meat, and damp stone. Around the central flames, the group gathers, each person taking their place in the circle of warmth and light. Not everyone's place is equal. Even here, tens of thousands of years before kings or empires, there are those whose voices carry more weight, whose presence commands more space at the fire. You notice them quietly. The elder, his face lined with years, his voice steady though softened with age. He does not move quickly, yet when he speaks, the circle listens. His knowledge is not of strength, but of memory, the paths of rivers, the migrations of herds, the patterns of the seasons. His wisdom is survival itself, and so his words are honored. Beside him sits the healer, keeper of plants and their uses. In her pouch are roots, herbs, and powders gathered from fields and forests. Some soothe hunger, others ease pain, others still bring strange dreams. Her role is both practical and mysterious. To heal the sick, to calm the suffering, to stand at the edge of life and death. It is a power respected and perhaps feared. And then, the shaman's furs are adorned with beads, feathers, and carved bones. Symbols of meaning that may not be obvious, yet carry weight within the group. He speaks not only to people, but to the unseen, to the spirits of animals, to ancestors, to forces believed to dwell in stone and sky. When the hunt is prepared, when sickness lingers, when questions press heavy upon the group, his rituals are called upon. These leaders do not rule in the way of kings. There are no thrones, no armies, no wealth to hoard. Influence is measured in trust, in knowledge, in the perception of connection to powers greater than the individual. Their luxuries are subtle: a thicker hide, a choice cut of meat, a necklace carved from ivory or shell. Yet, these small things mark them as set apart, and others recognize their status. The circle itself reflects this balance. Around the fire, all share warmth, yet the places closest to the flames are given to the elder, the healer, the shaman. Their words guide decisions: when to hunt, where to move, how to treat the sick, what meaning to give to the mysteries on the cave walls. Even within this small band of survival, there is hierarchy. The strong hunter may bring food, but without the knowledge of the elder, the group might wander into famine. Without the healer, wounds would fester and spread. Without the shaman, fear might grow unchecked in the darkness. And so, power here is not absolute, but balanced, a shared rhythm, like the beating of a drum. A reminder that even in the harshest of times, humanity has always sought structure, always turned to voices of guidance, always found meaning in ritual and story. As you sit within the circle, the firelight flickering on stone and faces alike, you realize this is the foundation of what will one day become governments, religions, and societies. But here, it is still simple, still close to the earth. The leaders of the fire circle are both ordinary and extraordinary. People who live, eat, and suffer alongside the group, yet carry a presence that lifts them slightly above. The night deepens, the fire crackles low, casting long shadows. One by one, voices quiet, bodies curl beneath hides. The circle loosens into sleep. But the leaders linger a little longer, the elder murmuring to the shaman, the healer checking the embers of the fire. Their presence is a quiet assurance that tomorrow, too, there will be guidance, that tomorrow, survival will continue. In the flicker of flame, you see the beginnings of order. The first outlines of society, drawn not in stone, but in the space between people. The fire has grown quiet now, the embers glowing faintly against the dark of the cave. Around you, the group has settled into stillness, their breathing steady, their bodies curled beneath furs and hides. The long day of survival has ended, and for a time, there is peace. As you reflect on what you have seen and imagined, the rhythm of their lives feels both distant and familiar. These people, separated from us by tens of thousands of years, struggled against cold, hunger, and danger. Yet within those struggles, they found comfort. They tended fires, stitched hides, painted walls, told stories, and looked to elders and healers for guidance. There were no cities, no written words, no great monuments of stone. And yet, in their caves, around their fires, they built the foundations of what would come: art, ritual, memory, and society itself. Even in the harshest times, humanity found ways not only to endure, but to create, to believe, to connect. You may imagine yourself slowly stepping away from the cave now, leaving behind the flicker of its firelight, the warmth of its circle. Outside, the Ice Age night stretches wide and star-filled, ancient and eternal. But you do not feel the cold. Instead, you carry with you the comfort of their fire, the steady rhythm of their survival. It is a reminder that even in times of difficulty, there are always small joys, small certainties, the glow of warmth, the murmur of voices, the steady presence of others. Their lives may have been harder than ours, yet, in many ways, their search for comfort, meaning, and connection was the same as ours today. Now, let your mind drift. Let the embers fade. The cave recedes into the distance. The firelight softens. The shadows dissolve. You are safe here, in the quiet of the present, carried by the memory of lives long past. And as you close your eyes, the past settles gently around you, not as a weight, but as a lullaby, a reminder that across all of time, human beings have always sought warmth in the dark stories, in the silence, and comfort amid the struggle. Rest now. Sleep well. The fire will keep burning.